Hi, I'm Pi, and this is PieCrest. This video will be going over everything to come in Preludes 12 as shown on Soulframe's 11th Devstream, including the biggest news, Soulframe Founders. Before we get into the video proper, if all you want is info on the Founders Packs and Preludes 12 drop date, here it is. First, both Preludes 12 and the Founders Pack access drops this month on November 25th. And you can look forward to having access to the individual Founders Packs, one for each of the starting Soulframe packs. These include signature armors, primary and sidearm weapons, spirit guide skins, figments for Verminia's recoloring, some of the premium currency arcs, some Moonsteel thread for armor transmog, and of course, your Wild Pact. Wild Pacts are Soulframe's version of Warframe's primes, basically superior versions of pacts that already exist in the game. Instead of buying an individual Founders Pack, you can choose instead to purchase the Founders Bundle, including all 3 sets of Wild Pacts, weapons, armor, and additional items. This bundle is called the Paragon, and will give you an additional Sparrow customization, an additional figment for Verminia, additional flower for planting in the Eternium, we'll get to that, and the exclusive Paragon Greatsword. If you're still with us after that, we'll be moving to a more in-depth look at what we have to look forward to in Preludes 12, which believe me is a lot. I will have timestamps in the video's description, which should allow you to hop around to whichever subjects you're most interested in. If I happen to have missed anything by the end of this video, or if there's something that really stands out to you, please feel free to leave a comment. I plan to release videos such as this every time we receive Soulframe news, so subscribe if you think you'd appreciate that. Without any more delay, let's jump right into the stream. First off, good news, if you still don't have a key to Soulframe, there will be even more opportunities to get one over the weekend, as explained by D.E. Sarah.
We have very exciting news for any of our Twitch streamers, starting right now at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have a directory-wide Twitch drop campaign going. So that means anyone who is streaming Soulframe in the Twitch directory will have drops enabled for their stream as well to receive a Soulframe Preludes key for 30 minutes.
The next few clips from the stream were a little scattered, so I've compiled the important details myself. If you followed Warframe news, you would know this, but for those who aren't up to date, TennoCon, the 2-day-long in-person convention for all things Warframe and Soulframe, has been announced for July 10th through the 11th. After that, the Soulframe team announced the merging of the public Soulframe Discord with the Preludes Discord, which should be happening around the end of next week. And though I covered most of this in the beginning, I will be handing it back to Sarah and the Soulframe team to detail what you can get for buying into the Founders Access. Then they will continue on to show you how you can get this access in-game with the shop that's coming to the Nightfold in Preludes 12.
There will be 4 options for those who would like to partake in Soulframe Founders. There will be 3 of our wilds, Wild Tethrin, Wild Siren, Oshelda. Each option will, of course, grant access to Soulframe, as well as some codes for your friends.
Okay, cool.
Each option will have a unique pact, unique armor, a unique talisman, unique weapon and sidearm, and also a unique spirit guide cosmetic, a figment, arcs, which is our premium currency, Moonsteel thread for bestitching, and a flower for a very special garden, a special new addition to our Nightfold, Zenith. He is a Dale Seer camel who has gone unnoticed by the Ode. So yes, this is where you will discover Founders and its offering, and it will exist as our Soulframe store.
Oh, there we go.
Yes. There will finally be an option for other aspects you might want to purchase, so you don't have to purchase higher pack capacity and weapon capacity from an inanimate weapon rack, which is an exciting change
Capitalism
for us.
Camel has you. He's got you covered.
I'll be taking over again for a bit, but I'll play relevant footage in the background. First off is the Eternium Garden. It is an old Fey garden in disrepair, and through the collective efforts of the Soulframe community, we can attempt to restore it to its former glory. Mechanically, we don't really know a whole lot about it yet. It seems to still be an iteration by the team, but we do know that it will be a relay or enclave-esque area, where you can plant flora alongside other envoys and share in the bounty, alongside engraving your name where you've left your mark. Next, more Founders info. First off, if you find yourself opting in to pay for founders, you will eventually have access to a special merch store for founders only. Though some of this is still in the works, they definitely have planned to have t-shirts representing whichever founders pack you bought available, though they hope to have pins and other artworks available for buying later on. The last Founders item on the docket for now is a fun one. If you're here, you most likely play or at least know about Warframe. Soulframe's much more established sister game. Founders will get a code that they can redeem in Warframe to obtain the Solos 1 sword for their Tenno. Moving forward, the team showed off some designs for some new Sinecure enemies, which I will always welcome, alongside also showing off a sharp and rending Ode Bow. This next section is primarily personalization and early game customization stuff, which they have said may not all make it in time for Preludes 12. In a rapid fire, we have face paint or face markings for your Envoy and your lovable Hound. Editing pie here, I entirely forgot the voiceover for the new Envoy face presets post character creation as well, so here it is. You will have more personalization for your Envoy's mother post-character creation, with a little tease to the importance of the Envoy's mother, as she seems to be a Night Maiden, such as Lady Diora. Finally, there are some looks at the Envoy as a child. This seems to be hinting at a point in the game where we're going to be forced to play back through our childhood as the Envoy, perhaps in another Wevetwood type flashback. And next, I lied. There's another sneak peek at a Founders Reward, this time showing off all the Spirit Guide personalizations based off of the Founders packs you got. In another rapid fire, we have some nice changes to the new player experience. These changes will involve much more direct guiding on your first boot up of the game until you get to the first world tree. You will even be led inside the Envoy's grandfather's hut at some point in the early game. Additionally, before choosing one of the first 3 starting packs, you will be allowed to test each of them out in the Nightfold. Next, the map is getting a refresh. It seems to be much easier to read in this new iteration, and it'll have more distinction between the area markers, such as between world trees and dungeon entrances. After that, we got to learn about a wonderful new addition that's on its way, which of course is fast travel. After finishing the Waste Bear fable, you will be given a Wevet seed, which can be used and consumed in order to travel to any world tree you've already unlocked, as well as travel to any Enclave entrance. These Wevet seeds are one-time use items, however it sounds like you will be able to harvest them from Wevetwood saplings or world trees every day. Next we have a brief look at one of the new Ode encampments. The team has a very concerted interest in making the Ode occupation a lot more obvious and hard to ignore, so Ode settlements like this will be popping up a lot more often. You may have noticed that when I was going over the Wild Paragon Founders Pack, I mentioned the Paragon Greatsword. This does in fact mean that we will be getting a new grip type in Preludes 12. Though the Paragon Greatsword is going to be exclusive to the Paragon Founders Pack, there will be 2 other Greatswords up for grabs for free. The first of these is the Mendicant King's Greatsword, and the other will be a Dendrit-inspired Greatsword, though we don't know much about that. Next up is arguably the second biggest reveal of this Devstream. There will be a hard mode for Soulframe, which will be inspired off of an old Fey ritual. This ritual consists of a Fey warrior imbibing an elixir called the Cogah and being made to face off against the Agari, a bunch of elite warriors. The Agari is also going to be the new name for sub-bosses around the world. The Cogah can be concocted over with Verminia with 2 ingredients. The first being Wevetwood sap, which, if you finish the Waste Bear fable, you should be familiar with. The other ingredient is a brand new resource called Agaric, a type of mushroom that will drop from the Agari. You will be able to consume the Cogah by opening your consumable menu, just like using a Cloud Quell or a healing potion. After you drink it, you, as well as everyone else in your party, will be debuffed with longer ability cooldowns, less healing from healing items and abilities, lower drop chances of healing potions, and enemies will be higher level and hit harder. It also seems like there will be additional rewards from playing under the effects of the Cogah, specifically through defeating the Agari, though we don't know too much about that yet. The Cogah's effects can be ended in 2 ways. The first is by dying and not being revived. The other is by running away from a fight after it's begun. The Agari themselves have also received a good amount of touch-ups. They will be overall a lot tougher and have better phase into their fights, letting them actually feel like challenges that live up to their statuses as Agari. There will also be Agari appearing in underground dungeons, though we haven't been explicitly told if these are going to be new Agari or pre-existing enemies. Alongside those changes, it sounds like sieges will be getting some updates as well. They'll be tougher and they may be adding more, though we don't have too many details on the siege changes. Finally, to conclude all of the items that had their own dedicated sections in the stream, we will be going over a new voice actress that will be appearing in the game. Jennifer English, a voice actress you should probably know if you've played Baldur's Gate, as she voiced Shadowheart, or if you played Elden Ring, you would have heard her as the voice of Latenna, will be the voice of the Fey Empress of Eldvale, an enigmatic figure which we don't really know a whole lot about. Before we wrap up, I've grabbed all the stray comments I could find that didn't really fit neatly into the rest of the stream. And since none of these last details have a good clip or screenshot to grab from stream, I will be putting some of my own gameplay up for the rest of the video. First, we have confirmation that the individual Founders Packs should be roughly $30. It wasn't made certain if this was Canadian or US, but regardless, this was a purposeful move to make it more accessible, which I do also personally appreciate as a very broke college student. The Paragon bundle, of course, is going to be a lot more expensive, but we don't have numbers for that yet. Another miscellaneous Founders detail is that you will have variants of the Founders armor, with one being more masculine and the other more feminine. So you might have a dress for leggings for one of the sets, but the other variant would be either more pant-like or maybe more kilt-inspired. There are also mentions of new runes, with the runes themselves now being assigned to grip type, such as longsword, shield, or bow, instead of the 3 categories we had earlier being ranged, melee, and magic. They also briefly mentioned virtue elixirs that are said to increase your attunement to a core virtue, though the stream ended before they revealed anything else on this. In random fast travel info, when you use your Wevitsi to fast travel in multiplayer, you will be bringing all of the other players to you in the new destination you've arrived at. They also brought up new totem variants, which I assume means that we'll have new animals to charm. On the topic of totems, animal charming will take a lot less time to finish, which will really help for grinding out all the totems. Now we're into the quality of life section. Bows will be getting quality of life changes, including hit markers on standard hits and special hit markers on headshots for better feel and feedback. There will also be 2 new accessibility options that we know about. One will be keeping a crosshair on your screen permanently, which seems to help people with motion sickness. The other option will keep your compass on the top of your screen permanently. The final quality of life feature that was revealed on stream is the addition of your sparrow landing on your shoulder if you stop moving for a while. While it's on your shoulder, it'll point you in the direction of your objective. The revive system is also getting some changes. While in multiplayer, you'll get downed, and your allies will have to run over to you and spend some time healing you to get you back up on your feet. It also sounds like you'll have limited revives in solo mode before being sent back to your Nightfold, though the details are sparse on that, so I might have a few things wrong. Wild Packs will also have a wild magic system, and although we don't have details on what that means, my guess would be that perhaps every ability will generate a random effect. Wild Packs as well will not be fully exclusive to Founders, at least permanently. They will be exclusive for a while. Later on there will be a ritual for free-to-play players that will allow them to receive a Wild Pact. Finally, we will in fact be receiving new Wild Pacts over time, and the aesthetics will be different from the first 3. The only example we were given was the idea of the Orengal Pact, with the image of the blue Fey arm partially transformed into a werewolf's arm. And that is everything we've learned from Soulframe's 11th dev stream. If I happen to miss anything, or if you're just excited for some of these up and coming features, please drop a comment. I'd also love to give a shout out to my boyfriend who illustrated the background for this video as well as my profile picture. There will also be a link in the description to check out more of his art if you're interested. If you enjoyed this video and want more up-to-date news on Soulframe in the future, please consider subscribing. But for now, I'm Pi. This has been Pie Crust, and I hope you have a wonderful day.